Oh, jeez. Okay, this is like 3 days in a row I forgot to turn on my camera. I am here, folks. Give me a second. Oh, my goodness. I was even ahead of schedule on getting my stuff set up. There I am. See, I'm here. I promise. I'm here. My goodness. Probably need to write these steps down so that I make sure I do all the things. I like push notifications and posts out on all the social media platforms. I did a better job than I usually do. Got all of the different social media posts put up and everything else. And then naturally, I screwed it up. No camera. Way to go, dummy. Anyway, it's okay. I can call myself a dummy. That's fair game. So, with that being all that nonsense being said, welcome to the Livin Life and Style Daily Travel Update for April 4th, 2025. I got to make sure I did all the things. April 24th, or not 24th, April 4th, 2025. That is the day. It's the daily Livin Life and Style Daily Travel Update, brought to you by Livin Life and Style Travel, a full-service travel agency. They can help you with all of your travel needs, everything including business travel and up to and including personal, leisure, and vacation travel, also including groups. They are looking to expand their group offerings. So if you're looking to set up a group travel, you should definitely give Livin Life and Style Travel a call. You can reach them at 816-744-1405. That's 816-744-1405. You can also find them on the web at livinlifeandstyle.com. They do have a big website update coming soon, so you can be looking forward to that, probably close to the end of this month. I know it's being worked on currently and diligently. We will have to see. I will continue to update everyone on when that new website will roll out. All right, we got 4 articles today. We got some information about a lot of travel cancellations in the for travelers coming to the U.S. We also have a change in the guard of cruise lines that are going to be sailing from a popular United States home port. We're going to touch on the best Caribbean islands for retirement. I'm on a little bit of a kick about looking for retirement locations and options, as we've had the long-term resident cruise ships had news on them. I think it was twice this week. It wasn't once last week and once this week. I think it was twice this week we talked about resident cruise ships. This time it's going to be about the best Caribbean islands for retirement. And finally, we will wrap up with what is a Guinness Book of World Records new record made for a Lego ship display. So we will touch on all of those items. Like I said, be sure. Thanks to Livin Life and Style Travel for being the title sponsor of the travel update. Let's dive right in. Da, da, da. So, travel cancellations surge as U.S. faces new decline in tourism. Canada, Western Europe, and Mexico see increased interest in alternative destinations. So, I'm quite certain this is directly related to all of the international politics and hubbub going on right now, markets in turmoil, all of that sort of stuff. I'm sure it is all interconnected, unfortunately, but that is the way it is. So, from Travel and Tour World, this article was published on Wednesday. For decades, the United States has consistently ranked as one of the top 3 most visited countries in the world. Major cities like New York, San Francisco, and Chicago, alongside iconic national parks like Yosemite, have long attracted international tourists. This, combined with the U.S.'s role as a global business powerhouse, made it a travel hotspot. In 2023, the country welcomed 66.5 million visitors, and the numbers for 2024 were expected to be even higher. However, recent developments, including the political landscape and internal shifts, are beginning to change attitudes towards the United States, leading to cancellations and a noticeable decline in tourist interest. Political and cultural shifts are impacting U.S. tourism. In a surprising shift, the re-election of Donald Trump as president in 2024 has caused a significant change in foreign diplomacy, relations, and perceptions of the United States. These shifts, combined with polarizing domestic policies, are having a clear impact on the U.S. tourism sector. A recent report by research firm Tourism Economics revealed that inbound travel to the U.S. is now projected to decline by 5.5% this year. That is a large decline. This represents a stark contrast to the previously anticipated growth of nearly 9%. So if you were expecting 9% and you're now projected to have a decline of 5.5%, that's a 14.5% swing. That is huge. That is huge. The report also predicts that if tariff and trade wars escalate, international tourism could experience a further decline, resulting in a potential loss of $18 billion or 13.8 billion pounds in tourist spending by 2025. The effects are already being seen. Let me look at something real quick. Yeah, I thought it said this past Tuesday. Of course, the 2025 numbers aren't out yet, but the effects are already being seen. A notable rise in travel cancellations has occurred in the wake of political and cultural changes. Since President Trump's announcement of 25% tariffs on many Canadian goods, there has been a significant decline in the number of Canadians traveling to the U.S. At certain border crossings, the volume of travelers has decreased by up to 45% compared to last year. As Canada is the largest source of international tourists to the United States, this drop could have far-reaching consequences. Impact on Canadian travel to the U.S. Recent figures show that the travel industry is already feeling the repercussions of these political changes. According to a poll by Canadian market researcher Leger. I'm going with Ledger. 36% of Canadians who had previously planned to visit the U.S. have canceled their trips. Furthermore, data from aviation analytics company OAG shows that passenger bookings on Canada to US routes have dropped by over 70% compared to the same period last year. The US Travel Association has warned that even a 10% reduction in Canadian travel could result in a $2.1 billion or 1.6 billion pound loss in tourism related spending, potentially putting 140,000 hospitality jobs at risk. Many travelers have expressed concerns over an increasingly unwelcoming political climate, citing the rhetoric surrounding foreigners, migrants, and the LGBTQ plus community. These sentiments, along with what is perceived as a lack of inclusivity, are further dissuading international tourists from visiting the United States. The Tourism Economics Report specifically noted that polarizing Trump administration policies and rhetoric were contributing factors behind the rising number of travel cancellations. The growing discontent among Western Europeans. The U.S.'s foreign policy decisions, particularly regarding its alignment with Russia and the ongoing war in Ukraine, have also impacted its relations with Western Europe. Research conducted by YouGov in March revealed a noticeable shift in attitudes toward the U.S., particularly in countries like the U.K., Germany, Sweden, and Denmark. In these countries, the number of people holding an unfavorable view of the U.S. has increased significantly since Trump's re-election in November of 2024. In the UK, 53% of people now hold an unfavorable opinion of the US. In Germany, 56% share similar sentiments. In Sweden, the number rises to 63%. And in Denmark, a staggering 74% of the population expresses negative views toward the US. I'm sure that has nothing to do with the Greenland push coming from the American administration. These growing unfavorable opinions reflect the deepening divide between the U.S. and Europe, which could ultimately affect travel decisions. With the U.S. becoming less appealing to Europeans, many are now considering alternative destinations for their holidays and business trips, leading to a shift in tourism trends. Border detention and visa issues, a growing deterrent. High-profile cases at U.S. borders are also contributing to the growing unease among international travelers. For example, in March, a British woman was detained by U.S. Customs Enforcement for over 10 days due to a visa issue. Similarly, a Canadian tourist was subjected to a 12-day detention after attempting to renew her visa at the U.S.-Mexico border, enduring a harrowing experience that included being placed in chains and held in overcrowded cells. These incidents, alongside stricter visa requirements and enforcement rules, are making travelers think twice about visiting the U.S. Mexico, which ranks as the second largest source of visitors to the U.S., has seen air travel from Mexico drop by 6% compared to the same period in 2024. The tightening of border regulations and rising concerns about potential delays in visa processing could deter many potential tourists, particularly from neighboring countries. Global travel advisories and their effect on U.S. tourism. As a result of these growing concerns, several countries have updated their travel advisories for the U.S. The UK Foreign and Commonwealth Office issued a warning on March 15th advising travelers that they could be liable to arrest or detention if they break U.S. immigration rules. This update follows a previous version of the advisory, which had not mentioned the possibility of arrest. Similar warnings have been issued by Germany, which has seen several of its citizens detained for extended periods by U.S. border officials. Additionally, several European nations, including France, Germany, Denmark, and Norway, have issued specific warnings for transgender and non-binary citizens. These countries highlighted the U.S.'s demands for tourists to declare their biological sex on visa applications, a policy that has become increasingly controversial. The cessation of issuing passports with an X marker for non-binary citizens has further raised concerns about the U.S.'s inclusivity and treatment of gender-diverse individuals. Shifting travel preferences, a surge in interest for alternative destinations. As more travelers opt to cancel their US bound trips, alternative destinations are seeing a surge in interest. Hotels in Bermuda, for instance, have reported a significant increase in inquiries from Canadians seeking to relocate their business and leisure trips away from the US. Some estimates predict that Bermuda could see a 20% rise in revenue from Canadian visitors. Similarly, Europe is experiencing a surge in bookings, with rental properties witnessing a 32% increase in summer reservations compared to the previous year. This shift demonstrates that travelers are increasingly looking for more welcoming, accessible destinations. Potential impact on major global events. Concerns over visa delays and entry restrictions are also casting a shadow over upcoming major events in the U.S., with the 2026 FIFA World Cup set to be co-hosted by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Many fans and athletes from countries such as Brazil, Turkey, and Colombia could face waits of up to 700 days to obtain visas. The U.S. has also raised concerns about the 2028 Olympics in Los Angeles, with the International Olympic Committee expressing worry over potential disruptions to the event. U.S. officials have insisted that the country will remain open, but the growing skepticism surrounding travel to the U.S. suggests that this may not be enough to alleviate concerns. The long-term impact: a decline in U.S. tourism. As political tensions, visa complications, and negative international perceptions continue to shape the global view of the United States, the country risks losing its appeal as a top travel destination. The long-term impact of these factors on the U.S. tourism industry may be difficult to reverse, particularly as travelers seek more accessible and welcoming destinations. With mounting visa delays, stricter border enforcement, and growing concerns over human rights, the U.S. could see a prolonged decline in international tourism. Shifting travel trends and the future of U.S. travelism. I like that word. Maybe we should, instead of tourism, maybe it's travelism. Anyway, shifting travel trends and the future of U.S. tourism. The United States is facing a dramatic shift in global travel patterns as political tensions, border enforcement, and cultural shifts begin to influence tourists' decisions. As international visitors reconsider their trips to the U.S., alternative destinations in Europe, Canada, and other regions are benefiting from the surge in interest. For the U.S., the future of its tourism industry may depend on its ability to address these growing concerns and restore its image as a welcoming and accessible destination. I have a lot of thoughts on this, and I'm not sure I'm completely prepared to share all of them. However, the idea that the United States is not a welcoming place is largely a media narrative, and it is completely untrue. We are not an unwelcoming nation. Every country on this planet has laws regarding entering their country. Many of them are far more strict than even what has changed in the United States. That's a fact. And I mean, nobody's going to change anybody's opinion on whether or not they want to come to the United States. People are all bent out of shape on all sides and in all directions. It is in a large in a large way, it is ridiculous. The fears, I believe, are greatly overblown. And if this ends up happening and this kind of stuff ends up continuing, all you're going to end up seeing is the largest tourism population, the largest buyers of vacation travel are going to start staying in the United States, and they won't go to places like Mexico. They won't go to places like the Caribbean. They won't go to Europe. They won't go to all these other places. They'll just spend their vacation dollars in the United States. I really don't like seeing all of this tit for tat crap going on amongst the nations. But at the end of the day, it's kind of where things are. So we will all have to plan accordingly for sure. As you know, I mean, the tariff thing, which I'm certainly not going to be getting into here, but the tariff thing is really upending everything going on in the world and all of the all of the traditional ways that we've done things for my entire life. So I mean, we are in store for a lot of changes, but you know, for us ground level plebs, um, I don't think ground level Canadian plebs should hold any animosity towards ground level American plebs. All of us are trying to make it through our day, and all of us, you know, have a love for our country, and it doesn't mean we dislike another country. Anyway, it's very disappointing to see those things, but I mean it's cause and effect, man. Cause and effect. It's a real thing. All right, we're going to move on to other news. This is also big news in the travel industry. Another cruise line is set to take Princess Cruises' dropped home port. Cruise passengers may soon have another cruise line option to choose from in one popular cruise departure port. This is from Alicia Dos Santos, and this was published yesterday morning. Alicia writes, after 20 years of Princess Cruises sailing from one top U.S. cruise port, a new era is on its way. A fleet redeployment plan is sending Princess Cruises in a new direction beginning in 2026, leaving a home port void that another cruise line could be quick to fill. Just days after Princess Cruises canceled its winter 2026-2027 season from the in-demand cruise port, reports from the port say another cruise line is already in talks to take its place. Although cruisers already have several cruise line options to consider from this convenient port, it appears that Princess Cruises' departure may make way for a cruise line that doesn't currently sail from the city to further expand cruise travelers' choices. Dun, 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 dun. The new cruise line may be headed to Galveston. Princess Cruises is set to end a 20-year run in Galveston, Texas, after the winter 2025-2026 season and after scrapping its winter 2026-2027 Galveston sailings scheduled on Majestic Princess as part of a broader global fleet deployment strategy, end quote. Where was the opening quote? There was no opening quote. I would always there. I don't know that that's a quote. It's an end quote, but there's really not an opening quote. So I'm not sure that it's actually a quote at all. Although the Port of Galveston would welcome Princess Cruises to return in the future, its CEO Roger Rees told Cron that the report, which Cron is the Houston Chronicle, by the way, if anybody didn't know. See here, like if I click on this, open link in new tab, taking me over here, and we see, well, it just calls it Cron. I'm pretty sure it's from the Houston Chronicle, though. I'm pretty sure that's the newspaper. Anyway, go back to the article. Roger Rees told Cron that the port is already in talks with an additional cruise line interested in sending a ship to Galveston to fill the open spot. Major cruise lines are bullish on Galveston, Rees told Cron. Cruise lines home ported here full-time and lines sailing seasonally from here have expressed strong interest in adding more sailings, end quote. Port officials won't reveal which cruise line may take the port spot left by Princess Cruises until an agreement is signed, but Rees indicated that it's a potential new cruise line partner, an additional line that doesn't currently have sailings from the port. With Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian, and Disney Cruise Line all offering Western Caribbean cruises from Galveston, and MSC Cruises opening a new cruise terminal there in November, there are only a couple of major cruise lines not represented. Could Celebrity Cruises sail from Galveston? Oh man, I hope so. That would be awesome. The most likely replacement for Princess Cruises in Galveston may be Celebrity Cruises. Celebrity is owned by Royal Caribbean Group, which invested in a new Galveston cruise terminal for Royal Caribbean ships in 2022. Royal Caribbean is developing a new Royal Beach Club Cozumel experience and a Perfect Day Mexico private cruise destination in Costa Maya that support the growth of short Western Caribbean itineraries from Galveston. Celebrity Cruises could potentially take passengers to those exclusive destinations as well. Celebrity Cruises currently sails to both Cozumel and Costa Maya from Tampa, Fort Lauderdale, and Miami. The Port of Galveston follows Port Miami, Port Canaveral, and Fort Lauderdale's Port Everglades as the fourth most popular cruise home port in the U.S. The growing Port of Galveston welcomed about 1.6 million cruise passengers on more than 380 cruise sailings in 2024. Me, my wife, and my son were three of them on Harmony of the Seas last August, and it was awesome. More than 400 cruise sailings are scheduled for 2025, with 1.75 million passengers expected. The opening of MSC Cruises' new $156 million cruise terminal in late 2025 will support the port, eventually handling more than 2 million passengers annually. As for Princess Cruises, the cruise line has not yet announced where Majestic Princess will sail instead of Galveston during the winter of 2026-2027 season. Loyal Princess cruisers still have a last chance to sail from Galveston to the Western Caribbean on Regal Princess Cruises, departing between November 2025 and March 2026. Port of Galveston officials have made it clear that they don't want to count out Princess Cruises returning in the future. Quote, "We would welcome them back in the future," Reese told Cron. "Their ships are sailing from Galveston at capacity, which is good for Princess and the port," end quote. Interesting developments as all of the deck chairs are being reshuffled in the cruise industry. Lots of new ports being opened, lots of new destinations, new cruise ships are being commissioned. And so people are going to be moving around that, and cruise ships and home ports are going to be shifting and moving around all over the place. So it's just going to be a little bit of, hey, along with everything else, kind of like what we talked about in the last article, although this might be a little more positive type of change, as opposed to, this might be a little more positive sort of change as opposed to the changes we were seeing in the last article. Nevertheless, the one constant is change, and that's where we are. I mean, that's the constant. That's the change, and it's happening. And I got to be honest, I'm a big fan of Celebrity Cruises. I've been waiting for my opportunity to take a Celebrity Cruise, and if Celebrity moved a ship, especially if they moved one of their Edge class ships to Galveston, it would really move to the top of my list as one of me getting on that Caribbean cruise on a Celebrity cruise ship would really move higher to the top of my list. Because Galveston is probably the closest port to me here in Kansas City. I mean, maybe New Orleans. New Orleans is a little further north, but it's further east. So I don't know which one would. It's going to be one of those two, though. It's either going to be New Orleans or Port of Galveston that are going to be the closest to me. So anytime you can, use a cruise port that's closer to you, I consider that nothing but a win. All right, on to the next article. We're talking retirement, folks. I'm 50 years old. No, I'm not 50 years old. I'm almost 50 years old. I just turned 48. And the closer I get to 50, the more I think about retirement. At the same time, I'm not sure I'm ever going to get to retire. So that kind of sucks, right? But I got to be honest. Part of my motivation for being a travel agent is because I don't think there's a good chance I'll never be able to retire. And so if there's not going to be a chance for me to retire, I might as well be in an industry. Where we travel, right? I can work from home and travel. I mean, that's the kind of the best thing to do if you have to retire, or if you can't retire. And better yet, look at some of these destinations that I can work, where I can work. We were talking about the cruise ships the last, couple days. And now it's time to talk about the best Caribbean islands for retirement according to research. This comes from islands.com. Sarah Paris published this yesterday morning. Sarah writes, retiring elsewhere has become more and more popular over the years. Whether affordability reasons or otherwise, there is something truly intriguing about spending your retirement in another country. If you have your sights set on somewhere warm where you can enjoy a bit of island living, the Caribbean should definitely be atop your list. Not only is retiring to the Caribbean a bonus due to the amenable weather and relaxed lifestyle, but it is also generally more cost effective than just simply retiring where you are and attempting to maintain your current way of life. From an overall enhanced standard of living and better access to healthcare to possible tax exemptions and more, there are many reasons to make an island in the Caribbean your forever home. Regardless of whether you are ready to retire, nearing retirement age, or just going over your future options, there are quite a few island paradises willing to accommodate you. If you've ever dreamt of retiring to a tropical island, these are the best options for you. Now, these options, like I said, I'm only 48. I'm, close to 20 years from retirement. A lot of these things could change by the time it's time to go, right? I used to look at other options for retirement quite often, and one of the places I wanted to go was Chile. And, well, the situation on the ground in Chile has changed dramatically since I first started investigating that. And that means that Chile may not be the best place to go now. So, it's always important to stay on top. Matter of fact, here in this first section, factors to consider first. Before you can move to your new island residence, or any other country for that matter, you need to consider a few things. Of course, income, expenses, taxes, and your prospective area's cost of living should be top priorities. But you also need to ask yourself other crucial questions. Are you looking to permanently or seasonally retire to a new location? Are you looking to buy or rent? And speaking of housing, what, if any, legal restrictions could affect potential property ownership? Additionally, the climate, accessibility to transportation, and nearby amenities should not be overlooked when deciding whether to retire in the Caribbean. For instance, if you have been dreaming of beach living, are you prepared to deal with a few months of extreme weather and the possibility of natural disasters? Can you easily walk to town, or does the island have decent public transportation? Moreover, if you want to spend most of your time golfing or diving, is that an option in your potential Caribbean paradise? I got to be honest. One of the reasons I frown on the idea of retiring to a Caribbean island is because it's an island, and the idea of the extreme weather and the natural disasters. I don't want to be stuck on an island when those things come. That's really something I've considered. I love the Caribbean islands, but I just don't know that I want to live there, right? While you are contemplating all these questions, you should take some time to research local cultures, customs, and languages. The quality of medical care available is also another factor to consider, especially if you know you will likely need any specialized care in the future. Unfortunately, choosing where to retire isn't simply a case of rocking up in paradise. First on the list, Antigua and Barbuda. Isn't that pretty? Isn't that pretty, though? I think so. One of the best Caribbean islands for retirement is Antigua and Barbuda, a stunning tropical paradise with lovely weather practically all year round, with more than 300 pristine pink sand beaches, shimmering turquoise waters, ample outdoor fun, homes for every budget, and notable tax-free living. This Caribbean island is a fantastic option. However, the possible perks do not stop there, as this destination also has more affordable cost of living when compared to other isles in the Caribbean. If you happen to be on a fixed income, Antigua and Barbuda is more than inviting. Retirees will also find world-class hospitals such as the Mount St. John's Medical Center and easy access to medical care for seniors. Plus, moving here does not come with a lot of red tape, and there is a hassle-free path to citizenship. The Citizenship by Investment program, which can be accomplished via a one-time donation or a real estate investment of approximately $200,000. This Caribbean island also has both public and private transportation services, a low crime rate, a fairly stable political climate, a rich culture, a fascinating history, and English as the official language. That is big, especially for me since I'm not a real fluent in my Spanish. I'm just saying. And with many diverse activities available to pass the time, like sailing, kayaking, hiking, snorkeling, and cultural events such as the Antigua Carnival, retirees can do so much more than just lounge on the breathtaking beaches or marvel at splendid shorelines here. South Caicos. Look at that water. So pretty. I'm just saying, it's so pretty. Part of the idyllic paradise that is the Turks and Caicos Islands, South Caicos offers a peaceful retreat with picturesque surroundings, a warm climate, and crystal clear waters. Here you can opt for temporary residency or permanent residence investor programs, which require a home purchase of about $300,000. The cost of living is slightly higher compared to many other spots in the region due to the need to import most goods, but many retirees still manage to live comfortably and opt for an eco-friendly retirement at a real estate development or in one of the various villas available on the island. Since South Caicos is so relaxed and secluded, you can easily escape the crowds and get a taste of small town life. The island has a population of around 1,200 people. My goodness, that's smaller than Clinton, Missouri, where I grew up, because they're at like 10,000 people. And with so much unspoiled beauty, South Caicos is ideal for nature lovers. This fishing hotspot has natural sanctuaries, tranquil beaches, wild horses, roaming donkeys, flamboyances of flamingos, and ample marine life. South Caicos residents often enjoy all kinds of water sports, especially scuba diving, and find ample time for serenity in the gorgeous villages dotted around the island. In terms of transportation, there are no public networks available. People generally walk, bike, and rent cars to get around. Small passenger ferries are also utilized to explore other islands with larger urban centers, shopping districts, restaurants, and access to more medical services. Number 3, Bonaire. My good buddy's girlfriend is a huge fan of Bonaire. I do believe it is her favorite place in the world. I'd have to talk to her to confirm that, but she goes scuba diving in Bonaire at least once a year, and I'm probably pretty sure it's more like 2 or 3 times a year. So good for her. If you are looking for a Caribbean island where you do not have to worry about hurricane season, you should definitely check out Bonaire. Well, that is a big feather in Bonaire's cap, because hurricane season is like the biggest worry I have of living on any Caribbean island. I got to be honest. I've never been in a hurricane. I have no desire to be in a hurricane. My wife would probably like to try it out once. She loves all those natural disasters. It's weird. A special municipality of the Netherlands, underrated Bonaire sits outside the Caribbean hurricane belt, making it safe from severe tropical storms and high winds. Spending your retirement on Bonaire means you can enjoy a lower cost of living and a laid-back lifestyle. A bonus here is that since Bonaire is considered a part of the Netherlands, retirees also have access to free healthcare and can manage on as little as $24,000 a year. That's a good number. You must become a permanent resident to qualify for such perks, and there are several ways to gain residency. The retired person or person of independent means permits ensure retirees can live out their days on one of the Caribbean's safest islands with the promise of first-rate health care. Bonaire is a medium-sized island brimming with community, natural beauty, and natural parks, a thriving farming area, diverse outdoor activities such as hiking, windsurfing, bird watching, and senior-approved excursions, and a thrilling mix of cultures, Dutch, Latin America, and Caribbean. With ample real estate available and no restrictions on property ownership for non-residents, retirees will find just about everything that they need and want in Bonaire. Finally, Bonaire has a public transit system, but it is somewhat lacking, so the island is packed with pedestrians, scooters, bikes, and ride shares. The Bahamas coming in at number 4. Honestly, as a cruise destination, the Bahamas gets a little old. If you've gone to Nassau once or twice, you've seen what you need to see at Nassau, and cruise lines stop there so frequently. Bimini is very much the same way, except for on Virgin Voyages at Bimini, you get to go to the Richard Branson Private Beach Club, so always makes that worth it. But point being that the Bahamas are a pretty common destination. So if you're visiting and you visit there a bunch of times, you may not want to go back. But to live there, it might be very interesting, because the Bahamas are a gorgeous chain of islands shimmering with tropical bliss. There is no arguing that. English is widely spoken in the Bahamas, and life here is an exciting mix of fun in the sun and leisure activities. For retirees, the tax benefits and pleasant climate tend to outweigh the pricey living costs. The Bahamas has a higher cost of living than even the U.S., and residency can be gained with a home purchase of around $500,000. Alternatively, you can buy property and maintain an annual homeowner's card if your housing budget is smaller than that gargantuan sum. Known for its gorgeous shoreline and sparkling waters, the Bahamas has several tremendous locations for retirees to call home. For instance, with places like Paradise Island, packed with entertainment and real estate developments, Albany, golfing and gated communities, Nassau, city living, history, and renowned medical facilities, and the Eleuthera Islands, something like that. Secluded relaxation and pink sand beaches to choose from. Retirees can tailor their experience according to their interests. The Bahamas continues to be a safe place to live with access to basic health care, but it is worth noting that international insurance is recommended for more comprehensive care. When it comes to getting around the Bahamas, many people take local buses or jitneys to make their way into town. Ferries and water taxis also allow for seamless travel between the various enclaves, making retiring to the Bahamas an island lover's dream come true. The Cayman Islands. I've never been to the Cayman Islands. My dad went to the Cayman Islands a lot back in the like the 80s and 90s, whenever it was. He was younger and scuba diving, and he loved the Cayman Islands. Comprised of 3 gorgeous isles, the Cayman Islands is a tropical haven worth considering for an idyllic retirement. Retirees can opt for a social and active existence, or a little peace and quiet on the less busy island of Cayman Brac. With no taxes on real estate, capital gains, or income, the Cayman Islands is a financially sound option for those with money in the bank. And with its stable economy, low crime rate, high standard of living, and lavish beachfront properties, the Cayman Islands offers a truly comfortable retirement. Other perks of retiring here include access to diverse social clubs, year-round sunshine, a plethora of fantastic things to do, excellent opportunities for deep-sea diving and water recreation, phenomenal shopping, and a rich cultural scene. Taxis are the preferred method of transportation in Grand Cayman, while bikes, walking, and car rentals are used to navigate Cayman Brac and Little Cayman. Traveling between all three enclaves is typically done via private boats. The Cayman Islands are ideal for wealthy retirees who qualify for residency programs like the Certificate of Permanent Residence or the Certificate of Direct Investment, which requires an annual foreign earned income of $150,000. If you also do not mind spending for comprehensive health care, you have come to the right place. The Cayman Islands are known for first rate medical services. Medical services are going to be so important in all aspects of deciding where you want to retire. You cannot get away from that as a retiree. I used to work in senior services. I can't express how important the medical services would be. Okay, it says Saint Martin, but I really believe it's Saint Martin because I know of Saint Martin. I've never heard of Saint Martin, but we'll read on. With remarkably surreal seaside scenery that includes pristine white sand beaches, forested mountains, and sparkling lagoons, this multicultural mecca has amenable temperatures all year round, an average high in January of 83 degrees, and is the place to be to make your retirement dreams a reality. Considered one of the lower cost Caribbean islands for retirees, Saint Martin. Okay, they've put it on there twice. I guess maybe it is Saint Martin. I've always heard it was Saint Martin, but whatever. Saint Martin is all about financial benefits, tax incentives, no property tax, tax-free imports, etc., and has retirement residency programs that are favorable to seniors. This Caribbean island also has European vibes. It is still a constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, a modern infrastructure, budget-friendly housing, excellent medical facilities, a flourishing economy, celebrated cuisine, and a sizable expat community. Moreover, Saint Martin is not too far from the U.S., making travel between the two destinations relatively straightforward. Saint Martin is a smaller island, and getting around via taxi is not too difficult, another aspect that makes life here so relaxing. So, whether you want to spend your time sailing, horseback riding, shopping, exploring historical sites, or just taking in the view, it is all out there in front of you. Though the cost of living here is still somewhat high compared to Europe, Canada, or the US, and you need your own health insurance and a minimum of $255,000 in savings to qualify for temporary residency, you cannot deny that paradise is calling Saint Martin. You cannot deny that paradise is calling. Saint Martin has some of the most incredible beaches, spectacular restaurants, and thrilling festivals in the region. Plus, there is always the daily excitement of airplanes screaming over a local beach. You can't beat that, right? And then the British Virgin Islands. You know what's good about the British Virgin Islands? They speak English. That's what's good about the British Virgin Islands, is that they speak English. So anyways, moving on. Retiring in the British Virgin Islands, BVI, requires a sizable net worth or an established business presence. That's the negative. However, if you are looking for some warmth for the winter months, then you can opt for a temporary residency and enjoy your retired years seasonally, provided you have an annual income starting at $36,000. Thanks to its many inhabitable enclaves, you can find housing, though you must obtain a non-belonger land-holding license before renting or purchasing property here. It is also worth noting that there are also annual real estate taxes in the British Virgin Islands. However, there are no taxes on inheritance, income, capital gains, or wealth. As one of the most luxurious yacht capitals in the world, BVI's cost of living can become pricey quickly, particularly on popular islands like Anegada, Jost van Dyke, Virgin Gorda, and Tortola. If you plan on enjoying yourself to the fullest by sailing, surfing, shopping, island hopping, sipping on cocktails as you soak in natural jacuzzis, lounging on breathtaking beaches, and more, BVI is a marvelous choice. When it comes to healthcare, retirees have access to quality services, both private and public, which includes medevac, transport for more specialized treatment with non-medical inter-island flights, land and water taxis, and ferries, you can easily get to wherever you are going and experience BVI's unique culture, cuisine, and upscale lifestyle. St. Lucia. For retirees looking for distinguished golf courses, island vibes, and lush surroundings, including a tropical rainforest, the Piton Mountains, a drive-in volcano. I had to, sorry. The whole concept, the drive-in volcano might have just sold my wife. I don't know. She completely wants to be around a volcano. I don't get it, but I love her dearly. So if that's where she wants to go, then that's where I'm going to be there. That's how it is. And some of the region's most vibrant coral reefs. St. Lucia is nothing short of amazing. Here you can opt for citizenship by investment at a cost of $240,000 and become a part of a diverse community of expats, retirees, and friendly locals. Deemed one of the least expensive islands for retirement, you can live well for around $1,000 to $1,500 a month. Oh, amazing. An alien landholding license is required to purchase or rent property in St. Lucia. But with a healthy mix of affordable and high-end property, housing is not a problem here. That said, there are residential real estate taxes as well as personal income taxes to factor into your budget. But with amenable weather, recreational activities galore, natural wonders, fantastic medical care, a bustling marketplace, several transportation options, including minibuses, taxis, rentals, ferries, and helicopters, and a truly welcoming feel, St. Lucia is a stunning option for retirement. It is a famously safe island with a close-knit community, rich history, delicious cuisine, and multiple annual cultural events like St. Lucia Jazz and Art Festival. And when you learn that this island has a lower cost of living than both the United States and Europe, it is clear that St. Lucia is just too good to resist. That may be true. Anguilla. Anguilla is a genuine diamond in the rough with beautiful coastlines. I mean, that really is an amazing coastline right there. With beautiful coastlines, the famous Shoal Bay, premier tennis and sports facilities, and plenty more, the British Overseas Territory has warm and fairly dry weather, unspoiled beaches, high-end resorts, a variety of recreational activities, and upscale beachfront restaurants on its Caribbean sands. With favorable tax benefits similar to other Caribbean islands with a higher cost of living, an easy path to British citizenship, and reasonable residency programs in place, Anguilla might be the relaxed lifestyle you did not know you needed. If you are looking for the quickest way to get permanent residency in Anguilla, a real estate purchase of around $500,000 or an investment of $750,000 is the ticket. There are minimal real estate taxes here, but overall, Anguilla is another island destination that can help you save regarding income, capital gains, and VAT, value-added tax. Furthermore, standard housing and resort residences ranging from modest to exclusive are available on the island, giving retirees plenty of options to determine what scenario works with their budget. Due to the small size of this enclave, public transportation consists mainly of taxis and ferries, and there is a limited number of medical facilities in Anguilla. Despite this drawback, Anguilla is a lovely choice for any retiree looking to leisurely kick back and live the good life. In their methodology, in order to pinpoint the best Caribbean islands for retirement, they consulted experienced expats, top retirement planning sites, and financial experts. They also considered important retirement factors, including overall budgets, available housing, cost of living, visa requirements, and senior-friendly citizenship programs. Other practical islands like the weather, political climate, safety, access to the community, and social activities played an essential role in compiling this guide. Ultimately, choosing where to retire should align with your specific goals, wants, and needs. If you can afford it, there are plenty of excellent options in the Caribbean. After all, retiring to a tropical island is the dream, right? It's pretty close to the dream. Pretty close to the dream. All right, we got to hustle up because I'm almost up to an hour and I haven't gotten to the last story yet. MSC World America crew breaks Guinness World Record for Lego ship display. Well, I'm always down for a Guinness World Record. So, the crew of the MSC World America has set a Guinness World Record. Oh, who is this from? Oh, it's from Cruise Industry News, published a couple days ago. The crew of the MSC World America has set a Guinness World Record for assembling the longest line of Lego ships at sea during the ship's transatlantic voyage from Saint Nazaire, France, to Miami, Florida. Led by Captain Dino Sagani, over 1,000 crew members built 1,391 Lego ships, creating an 89-meter-long display stretching through the ship's World Galleria on Deck 6. According to a press release, each model took an average of 5 minutes to assemble, totaling approximately 116 hours of effort. The achievement was completed in under 2 hours under the supervision of a Guinness World Records adjudicator. Each participating member received an official Guinness World Records certificate and one of the Lego ships as a keepsake. The record will be included in the Guinness Book of World Records 2026 book alongside over 13,000 longest line records in the database. Steve Letham, Vice President of Entertainment, MSC Cruises, said, quote, MSC Cruises entertainment team is committed to expanding onboard experiences and taking them to the next level. We partner with the world's top entertainment brands to create something truly magical. It's fantastic to see the collaboration between Guinness World Records and Lego on MSC World America come to life in this way, end quote. The accomplishment comes as part of MSC Cruises' Guinness World Records entertainment program introduced in 2023 and set to expand fleet-wide by the end of the year. To date, MSC guests and crew have achieved 40 world records, including the fastest 100-meter rope pull and the quickest 20-chair rotations in under 21 seconds. Matteo Mancini, Family Entertainment Development Director for MSC Cruises, added, quote, on MSC World America, we will offer 3 weekly, multi-generational, and unmissable entertainment experiences with Guinness World Records, and we will have the first Lego parade and Lego game show in the cruise industry. Our teams have come together to create a fun, immersive, and unforgettable family entertainment program, making sure there is something for guests of all ages to enjoy, end quote. MSC Cruises has a long-standing partnership with Lego, which has been enhanced on board MSC World America with exclusive experiences such as the first Lego-themed parade at sea, Lego Family Game Show, and the Lego Family Zone Builder area. The MSC World America will be officially named in Miami on April 9th, 2024. It's just around the corner at MSC Cruises' new Miami cruise terminal before beginning its inaugural Caribbean season on April 12th. It all kicks off next week. Fantastic. I also, along with Celebrity, I really want to experience MSC Cruises, particularly the World America. It's got to be on the docket. I might actually have an opportunity to go sail on it later this year. We'll see how that plays out. All right, guys. I need to hop off here because I've almost maxed out my hour. I mean, I could go over, but I don't really want to. You guys expect, an hour or less, and so I'm here for an hour or less. My name's Eric Tiemann. This is the Livin Life and Style Daily Travel Update for April 4th, 2025. It's brought to you by Livin Life and Style Travel. They can help you with all of your travel needs, from business travel to personal, leisure, and vacation travel, including group travel. If you would like to reach out to them, you can find them on the web at livinlifeandstyle.com. That's livinlifenstyle.com. Or you can just give them a call at 816-744-1405. That's 816-744-1405. You guys have a great day. I will see you on Monday at 11 with the next Livin Life and Style Daily Travel Update. Have a fabulous weekend and be good out there, everybody.